Your voice is magic.
Oh, thank you.
It's magic. It's magic. I love this guy. I love you, Steve. So I love your work.
Oh,
I'm so grateful for the things that you do. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. For those connecting, we have a special guest today, Steve Nobel. He's a starseed, and he's going to explain what that is and the difference with light workers. And he's going to explain us in a very simple, exciting way about the metaphysics of healing, the power that we have, the power that we are here to receive with abundance and prosperity. Today, actually, he's going to enlighten us with his explanations. Steve is a very special person. He is a starseed who went through a 3D process that he's going to explain what that is, of remembering the divinity within us, and created his own method to heal. And today, he's sharing all that wisdom to help others to live in total prosperity, freedom, happiness, and awareness of our multidimensional power. So, Steve, who are you?
who am I? Thank you for my introduction. I live in the UK. I was born in the late 50s. I, as a child, was very interested in magic and superhero comics and all these things. My family were not. They were very, I call 3D, which is very blinkered, and they blocked any which way they could. So I tried to be normal. I did a career of 10 years in banking, 10 years in local government, which is normal career. And I really did not fit in anywhere there. And a lot of starseeds, we'll talk about starseeds later, don't really fit in the world. They feel, I don't belong, I don't fit in. I felt like a round peg in a square hole. I really couldn't bear banking. And even local government was difficult for me. And then I started finding spirituality. I found it once again. I kind of gave up as a teenager and I found it once again. And I started being led one to another, to another, to another book, to a teacher, to a class. It was really incredible synchronicity. In 1991, I had my first experience of synchronicity, and I started to slowly wake up. The universe is magical. I believed it when I was a child. As an adolescent, I kind of was losing it, then I lost it, and then I gained it again. It's like, actually, the universe is magical. And then I dived in everywhere I could go and learn and find. And I dived into metaphysics. I found crystal healers, energy healers, tarot readers. I went to workshops. There was all these festivals, mind, body, spirit festivals I used to go, and I used to tell me, I want to understand this universe, this thing. I found a great teacher in 1990, maybe one or two, I can't remember. And I trained with her for 9 years. She introduced me to shamanism, to Wicca, to a lot of things. So I was on my path. I resigned from normal job. I followed my heart, which was, in those days, I'm just going to follow my heart. The universe will lead me to align my work and money with spirituality. It was not easy. It was bumpy, but I became a director of a spiritual organization in London called Alternatives. I was there 13 years hosting all these people, Deepak Chopra, Byron Katie's, Neil Donald Walsh, all those types. And I met them and had tea with them, which I liked as much. It's good to hear them, but then I enjoyed meeting them and speaking to them and seeing, I want to feel you and see, are you really aligned with your message, or are you just jumping on a bandwagon or something? Because that's the trouble nowadays. When I first started out, there wasn't a lot around, but now it's flooded. So now we have too many people, which is the right one. And everyone's got a great marketing spiel. So it's a bit confusing for people. So I stayed there for 13 years. Then I had the impulse to leave and I resisted it, resistance, which is never a good idea. That threw me into a dark night of the soul, lasted 6 years. And when I woke up from that dark night, which was really terribly deep and dark,
And terrible.
like depression times 10, it was really hard. Anyway, I woke up. I hadn't heard the voice of spirit or guides or angels in 6 years. They just stopped speaking to me. Before then, I was speaking, channeling, connecting. Then they stopped for 6 years. It's a long time not to have any, you know. So imagine if you're dating someone, they don't call for 6 years, and then they call you again. It's like, hey, where have you been? And then they said,
thanks for
yeah,
coming back.
and then they said, you got to teach about starseeds and ascension. And it wasn't what I wanted to hear, but I meditated for 2 weeks, and then I decided, okay, I'll just say yes. Okay, I'll do it. And then I was on the path. And now, where are we now?
You're
7
making
years.
people so happy.
Well, I got the feeling that after a year or two in, that I needed to start doing transmissions, and I'm like, what is this? It's kind of like downloads and meditations. And now I realize there's so many people, 170,000 on YouTube that are listening. And so there's a big following. In the beginning, I thought maybe I'll get 100 people interested. You know, maybe who's going to be interested in this? So now I'm doing webinars, transmissions. I see clients. I've just been to a festival in England for the summer solstice, doing a big ritual for 100 people.
So I would really like you to explain to us the process that we enter in the path of healing through your meditations. I would like really that you open up a little bit of your secrets. Of course,
the secrets. Okay,
you're going to keep yours, but a little bit of your secrets on this path of healing. You know, because in meditation we're seeking for answers of why we're living disconnected from source. We want to retrieve our inner wisdom. What is this path that you take the people and the persons to this special place? We travel. Things happen in the meditation, and it's not only superficial healing. There are blockages, you know, ET blockages, implants. There's so many things happening. So many things are happening. So we're like going out of the metrics to come back with a different perspective, with a different energy, with different frequencies. What happens, Steve?
What happens? Okay.
I want to know everything.
We want to know. Okay.
I want to know everything.
Well, I'm pulling people out of religion. Pulling them out.
Okay.
Religion is every religion founded by a spiritual teacher, master, avatar, and then it gets laid over with politics, power, money, ego. Boom. And if you're in any religion, then you have to bow down to some priest who's the intermediary between you and God, goddess. Well, in the Catholic Church, you wouldn't say goddess, but God, I say God, goddess, all of this. The goddess is returning, is one of the things I say to people. The goddess is returning after thousands of years of patriarchy, and the church, Catholic Church, is a very good example. Islam is another good example. Buddhism is another one. They're all examples of male-dominated, pretty much male-dominated religions. And to have a connection to angels, God, higher beings, you have to go through someone, go through a church, go through someone. And you don't have to do that. You have a direct route to God, to angels, to beings of light. But most people go, have a direct route. Which is that route? I don't know the route. I've forgotten it. Many of our ancestors knew the route. They had, you know, many shamans, and you know, if you go back 1,000 years, they would know it. You know, but now we've forgotten.
Shamans have the best technology for healing and traveling the dimensions.
Oh yeah, I trained in it for many years and I loved it. But after my waking up, I really started very strongly, intensely connecting with angels. At the beginning was 4 of them. Raphael, always the 4 is the same. Raphael of the East. And Raphael is the archangel of the mind. He's the archangel, really the direction of the inner child of spring, really, the energy of spring, but the element of air. Michael, which is the kind of protector angel of the south, he's the archangel of the sun. He's the archangel of fire, of the will. And he's really good at protection, but also aligning our will. You know, I know what I'm doing. I am a strong, you know, with the higher will. Because most people in the 3D world, they build a big ego, but they don't want to surrender it to a higher power. But Michael helps us surrender. Gabriel of the West, of water, of dreaming, is a messenger angel. Emotions. It's really good for cleansing the emotional body, also for messages, opening up the channel for messages, you know, light language and all this kind of thing. And then the fourth angel is Uriel of the north. Now, this one was a little bit mysterious. Took me a while to really penetrate and feel into him. But this angel is angel of earth, of structure. Money is a structure, a kind of structure, body, anything earthy. Or also, I feel spiritual laws. He's really connected to karma and these kind of laws. So these are the four angels. I worked with them at the beginning. And then I also found Metatron and Sandalphon. And these, now I don't understand why, but the four archangels of the horizontal are all Jewish named. They're all ancient Kabbalah Jewish, but Metatron and Sandalphon are Greek. The names are Greek. Now I don't understand why it's different, but these are the angels that came and these are the names I got, so I work with them.
Yeah.
So these six energies are every magical group or space is created with six directions. The four directions of the horizontal plane and the two of the vertical plane. Those six directions create sacred space. It creates a sphere of light around us. And what we're doing is we're opening up, as you say, portals to something else. Now,
or vortexes.
Or vortexes or timelines.
Yeah.
But you can, it's almost like going into a time machine and going, where do you want to go? You can go there, you can go there, you can go there. You can go anywhere. You can go to the past and heal the past. But then we can change stuff in the present. We can change situations in the present, challenges in the present, because every challenge is energy. And we can change energy in ritual, in meditation. The future is possibility of energy. We can go into the future and we can have a look around. We can even look at what I've done a lot personally is explore choices. So, hey, I've got an offer. I can go there, say yes. I can go there, say no. I travel down. Which one is the most brightest, lightest? I'm going to say no to that one. So these days I do it really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to different dimensions. You can connect with different beings, archangels. You can connect with masters of light. You can connect with star races. They can go many places. Imagination is the gateway to every world. People say, oh, it's just my imagination. In the beginning, when they're waking up, they go, oh, well, I see something, but it's just my imagination. But actually, you have to the imagination is a doorway that you step through. Now, most people's doorway is corrupted with too much Netflix, too much horror movies, too much porn, too much whatever. And so that gateway of imagination is hijacked. So you can't go through it. You have to clear the gateway. And there are ways of clearing the gateway. But when people start, well, at the beginning, I'm just imagining it, am I making things up? And then the question everyone asks, how do I know this is real? Everyone asks the question. I'm sure everyone asks the question at some level. How do I know? I've got to see it, feel something, touch something. Something's going to happen, then I'll know. So I had a number of experiences that were like, oh, this, I can't explain this. And so I started to open. And then I started testing the universe. Well, if this is real, if I can heal, if I can manifest, if I can do these things, let's do that. And then things would happen. And I'm like, wow, beyond coincidence. I mean, yes, there's coincidence, but this is beyond coincidence. So I stopped asking the universe these questions. And now you can use, all the meditations are used for healing, for transformation, for shifting, for opening, I've got about 360 videos on there. So it's any situation I can think of, I try to create something that will help.
Anything, because I've been looking for that, and anything that I've been looking for, you have a meditation.
Yeah. Well, it's still growing. There's like meditations on emotions, anger, emotional healing, chakras, opening your throat, opening your solar plexus, and so on, manifesting. You mentioned abundance a few times earlier. I've got a whole playlist on abundance. I quite like abundance. It's one of my lessons I've come to learn, and I feel I'm learning it still. Expanding abundance. Abundance could be there. Oh, and then there, and then there, then there, and then you can relax to there. Oh, and then whoa, and then this is exciting.
It's wonderful. You have a meditation that you are giving. What do you do with $100 and then 500 and then 1,000 and then 10,000 and then you are still giving more, and then 1 million and then 2 million and then 5 millions and then 100 millions. And then, when I was doing the meditation, I'm like, I have so much money that I just started to, okay, I'm going to open a hospital. I'm going to do a university. You start feeling that all this abundance, all this money, all this prosperity, you need to give back. You need to share. You want that everybody is there, you know, like boom, expanding with this. And that's the energy. That's the right energy.
Yeah. It's an infinity sign of giving and receiving, giving, receiving, giving, receiving. And in the 3D world, which is the world we see around us, people give conditionally. I give you if you give me back something. There's these transactions always. But when we start shifting the transactions, we slowly drop it when we start to trust. You know, hey, if I give, will I get something from somewhere? You know, and this kind of, and then the ego relaxes. You can be generous and it comes back, and you're generous, but not from the person you give, but it just comes somewhere from the universe. The universe becomes the open channel everywhere, which way. But we have to, in any of this work, whether it's healing or manifesting or money or health or relationships, we have to go through also the doorway of belief.
Mm-hmm. Beliefs are the wall, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's the gateway of imagination, which is great, but belief and belief will grab your imagination and go, you know, yeah, you had that little experience, but you just made it up. It's not real, you know. Or your mother will say, get real, stop daydreaming, or what. My parents were always doing that. Stop daydreaming, stop, you know, all get a proper job, get in the proper world. Wake. They had all these kind of weird messages. So I had to shed all that stuff to realize, actually, we hold beliefs about every single area of our life. And if an area is limited, we need to explore, what do I believe about that? And usually we hold opposite beliefs, you know, and I explore this in workshops often. But for example, deserving money, let's say deserving, or are you capable of generating money, capable of abundance? And they may go, yeah, I think so. But on the other hand, there's another part of them goes, no, I know I'm not. It's common. Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, I think I can. No. And there's this kind of thing that goes on. So you have to go into the negative or limiting beliefs and go, well, why not? Why are you not deserving of it? Why are you not capable? What's wrong? I'm the wrong gender. I'm too old, too young. I come from the wrong side of town. All these kind of ideas that people form. Or there are bigger ideas like life is not fair, or people are basically jealous and out to get you. You know, all of this kind of stuff. And all of it creates our reality, the mixture of it. And we have to kind of look at it as a creation of ours from the inside out and start to shift inside out. So the meditations are also helping to clear out the inner world, clear out all of this old energies. Maybe you got from your mother, maybe you got depression from your father, you know, maybe you got from your grandfather that life is not fair, it doesn't work out. You've got to clear all of that out because it's all made up. They've just made it up. They had an experience and they're telling you this is how reality works. It doesn't work that way. So a lot of meditations are clearing all of that stuff out and actually implanting new ideas. So I have affirmation tracks, new ideas. You know, you are expansive. You can be unlimited. You and open. And so it's constantly opening someone's limitations because we all have limitations. Once we open our mind, the rest of the energy will follow. So all of the work is around helping people become healers, manifestors, really, magicians. So that's the aim of it all.
As Starseed are educators, right? But educators in their own authenticity, genuinity. But a Starseed cannot copy. A Starseed needs to be of its own. So how do you understand you are a Starseed?
Every soul is multidimensional. I mean, otherwise you wouldn't understand what Starseed is. Multidimensional means we live many lifetimes. This earth plane is just one place. We live in many places. And star systems, there are many star races very interested on the earth plane now because we're ascending, we're opening, we're waking up. The DNA of humanity has been seeded by many star races. You know, science even today still wonders how humanity jumped from Neanderthal to the present human. The jump was like millions of years of evolution. It was such a big leap. And the DNA of star races was mixed with human DNA, or at that time, whatever the humans were at that time, and created the new race of humanity. And the new race of humanity, which is us, has the potential of a lot more than we have now. So our chakra system, for most people, is firing on survival, emotional reactivity, and power struggles, you know, the lower three. Awakening opens up the heart and up, heart, throat, and more chakras in the body. The awakening opens up strands in the DNA that are not, we're not just a two-stranded being, we're multi-stranded being. Some say 12, some say more, but we're multi-stranded, and those strands start to get reformed. All the junk DNA gets kind of pulled in, and there is no junk DNA. It's all necessary. And it wakens up our ability. We're moving from carbon-based to crystalline-based. And it's not going to take a couple of years. It's our body is changing. And that's why some people are going through ascension symptoms of headaches and my heart's hurting and I'm sleeping a lot and I can't eat that stuff I ate before. And, I can't live in the city anymore. All of these changes, the body's changing. And starseeds have connection to many races: Pleiadian, Syrian, Arcturian, Andromedan, Lyran. There are many races we have connection to. But a starseed doesn't feel they belong in this 3D world. They don't belong in the regular world. They don't belong maybe in the family. Maybe your family you don't fit. There's a high sensitivity. Starseeds are drawn to alternative lifestyles. They're always drawn to, alternative healing methods and alternative ways of eating and sustainability. They're drawn to spirituality. They may go to religion initially, but they will get drawn to spirituality. Starseeds come with different missions. Some are healers. Some wake up people's DNA. Some do all kinds of weird shit like me. Some people wake people up. Some people are working with the land, working with sacred sites, waking the sacred sites up. Some people come to birth new technologies. A lot of starseeds actually birthing new technologies. Some starseeds come as whistleblowers to break down old structures. A lot of whistleblowers now. Yeah. Ever since 2012, the winter solstice, lots more whistleblowers coming forward. And some are here to neutralize the dark. I also have that one. How do we neutralize dark energies? And people say, what do you mean the dark? Well, it's any force which opposes your light, opposes your soul, opposing your evolutionary growth. And there are plenty of energies on this planet at the moment that oppose it, that don't want it. And you say, how do we know? Well, just look at the news and listen to the news and go, are they supporting my growth, my evolution, or are they opposing it? You have to answer that for yourself, really. I think there are forces opposing it. There are forces on the inner planes opposing it as well. When we start waking up, we shift from this world to, you can call, accessing the 4D astral plane. Now, the astral planes, not just one, there's planes, are levels. The lower levels are heavy, dark. Imagine someone who's lived a lifetime murdering, killing, cheating, raping, whatever. After this lifetime, there's levels where they have to go and work through. Those levels aren't light, but there are beings in those planes as well, which are consciously choosing to be dark and will choose to oppose the light. They don't want the light. They're afraid of the light, don't want it. There are these forces. It's not exactly like the church, the devil and all of that. It's not like that, but it's like there are forces, just as there are light forces, there are dark forces. Otherwise, this planet would have woken up years ago. This planet's been dark for years. Look at the life of Jesus, the Avatar. He came, got, killed or pushed aside, and his message got hacked into.
So in a way, starseeds are doing this work of educating the new generations into being authentic, genuine, free, and empowered. We are also people who are disclosing the disclosure of what's going on, like ETs and the right history of the world, because we lived in a lie, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of history that is just false, and there's a lot of most of the news channels now are controlled. You're getting partial truth. You're getting truth which is what's being fed to you to believe. The major things which happened in the world recently, the lockdown, for example, every news channel has given you a story which is completely nonsense. It's not true. And other things, what happened on September the 11th, way back 2001, all the channels are giving a story which is not true. Mm-hmm. What we're doing is anchoring, starseeds are anchoring a new light onto the planet. Now, the planet itself is waking up. The planet doesn't need starseeds, but the human community does, because the human community would be left behind with, as the planet is ascending, light is going into the Schumann resonance is going mental recently. I don't know if you saw that, just going mental.
Oh yeah,
spiking all over the place.
beautiful grid.
Yeah, and light from the sun, solar flares coming, and all of this kind of stuff. Starseeds anchor the light in their energy field and transmit it out to the human community, saying the world is waking up. Do you want to join in? And some people are waking up. They're waking up because of it. And there are many, many more starseeds come, millions now. But still, starseeds are a small percentage. There may be 6% of the global population, or 5%, or maybe less. I'm not exactly sure. But the vast majority of people are not starseeds. There are people who are light workers, and I think of a light worker as someone who is a starseed that doesn't recognize they're a starseed. They're like drawn to spirituality, but starseed, what is that? I'm not quite sure. I don't, for me, for a while, I'd say I'm a light worker. I never called myself a starseed until after 2012. So it's just a kind of holding platform for people who go, I'm interested in stuff, but I don't want to know about stuff up there. I want to heal. I want to clear my life. They're not interested in aliens or whatever, all this stuff, or crop circles. Maybe they were interesting. I was interested in crop circles. I've seen so many crop circles. They are really fascinating. There are so many mysteries in this world that if you really look at them, you go, how is it that the news is not really looking at that and going, what is this? But the news is more interested in diverting your attention into silly stuff. So
how does the team in spirit prepare a starseed or somebody that is seeking the truth, seeking their own healing? How does it work? How does the universe prepare you the path? What happens?
Before this lifetime, we decide, hey, I'm going to be Maria, I'm going to go to Spain, or I'm going to be Steve, I'm going to go to London. And what does Maria want to grow through, learn, embrace? So what are the ideal circumstances for that? Now, the ideal circumstances will either be things which oppose it or things which embrace it. And for most people, they go into a situation that opposes the gifts that they want to embrace. So my family opposed spirituality. You could be in a family that oppose your creativity. They could be in a family that oppose your freedom, or whatever it is, And it's almost like going into a gym. We go into a gym to lift weights. Like, you don't go into to levitate off the floor. You lift the weights and you go, hey, I'm building strength. And for a certain period, there is this learning through opposition to your light. If you've got lessons around love, you'll learn about betrayal, you'll learn about rejection. If you're learning about abundance, you'll go through scarcity. All of these things. We learn about the opposite. Then at a certain point in time, which is almost, I think, cosmically timed, there's a wake up. You get a wake up call. You have an opportunity to wake up. It could be a meditation. It could be a death. It could be an accident. It could be a redundancy. It's something that goes bang, and you're like shaken. And for a moment, something else can come in. So for me, it was the death of my father that was like, what's this? Something hit me and woke me up at that moment. And I was following it ever since 1991. So we wake up, and then our higher self and these light beings start saying that he's waking up, she's waking up. Let's start connecting. Before that, they leave you alone, more or less. Unless you're in real danger, they kind of keep an eye. If you're really in real danger, they'll keep an eye and try and, knock you, and so you don't go down to the darker path. But by and large, okay, Maria, she's off. She's in the family. She can be left alone. She can do singing opera. It's fine. She's learning. Steve, he can go and learn about having no money, get, debt, mortgage up to here, all of this stuff. And then the wake up happens, and then you start embracing, releasing, shedding, embracing new energies. So for me, let's say money. I had to shed all my parents' ideas about money. They were really limited, really, around money. I had to embrace new ideas around entrepreneurship. What is it being an entrepreneur? Nobody in my family was an entrepreneur, and nobody taught me anything. I had to learn it. I had to learn around giving and receiving, all of these lessons. Nobody was teaching me. I had to kind of embrace it. And then the dark night of the soul. Now, the dark night of the soul was allowed by my team in spirit. You think, well, they're not very nice. Why not let him keep having more love? But actually, I was resisting my path, and they went, okay, he's resisting. we can give him more love, or we can give him this. Okay, give him a dark night of the soul. Dark night of the soul is, in he goes. I learned so much in the dark night. I wouldn't really be doing this work if I hadn't. That was such a strong kick.
It's so important, the dark night of the soul. Of course, there's levels, but I mean, the deepest, and the more difficult one, the deep that you want to kill yourself, that's the good one.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to end it, but I knew I couldn't. So there's cosmic timing, and then once you're on your track, once you're on your path, there are lessons, challenges. Each challenge comes to awaken you, comes to give you a new resource. Each problem is to give you a new resource, but there are dreams. Dreams are the language of the soul. You follow the dream and it opens something. So I had dream of writing books. I had dream of doing retreats, and each one is like, wow, I can do it. And it opens up a new level of I'm capable. And then you can do something bigger and bigger and bigger. It's kind of this, and they're just saying, come on, get on with it. Hurry up,
Yeah. If you talk like this, healing it could be very joyful, right?
Well, before I woke up in 1991, I didn't think I had anything to talk about. But from 1991, I kept diaries, loads of them. And I'm like, oh my God, I've got so much to say, so much I'm thinking, so much I'm experiencing. It's just kind of woo, And now there's just so much. Even if I never leave my house, there's just so much to think, to embrace, to experience.
So many things happen, with the spirit working, the team in spirit working in the different dimensions, preparing you until at one point they just go like that, right?
Yeah, you have a choice. And so, a choice is being presented, and you're resisting because there's tension. There's like, there's a little bit of fear or anxiety of, but my philosophy now is I just say yes to it. I might take a week or two to feel into it, but I eventually say yes to everything. And I think the Starseed path is eventually, you have to know the difference between your higher self guides and ego. The ego will always be fearful, anxious, contracting voice, but the higher self and guides are always a loving, gentle, expansive voice. So once you get the difference between the two voices, you can say yes to that voice and no to the ego voices. You can say, I'm not being fooled by you again. I'm not going down there again. And the ego might even start to mimic the spirit. My ego started to speak like my higher self. And I'm like, no, I know you are not the higher self. I can tell you who you are. So it says you say yes to the higher self, just embrace it. And my life has opened up miraculously. I mean, I'm living in the most amazing place, lovely house, great partner, on track. Life is good. I'm getting invites to come to Canada, to India, to places. I'm like, wow, I can go and work and have a holiday at the same time. How amazing is that?
That's one of my dreams, that you come and be part of my team.
Okay.
Let's send this wish and this desire to you.
Yeah, wherever I need to go, I will go. I'm happy to be of service.
So, Steve, how do we retrieve our own technology to create with magic? Because we have technology, right, in our potential.
Find a spiritual practice that resonates with you and stay with it for a while, that starts opening doorways. Find a real good teacher that resonates with you and stay with them for a bit. And then you're looking at them and you're seeing their pathways, their openings, their holding space. And then some people don't need to do that. Some people can just wake up and do it. But most people need some example. Oh, you've reminded me. That's how I do it. Dung, and they do it themselves. So I just say I'm a reminder for people, and people like me are just reminders. And then you're off doing your own light language, channeling new ideas, new technologies, new ways of healing. All comes through. It's all new coming through now. The old doesn't work in the same way anymore. Even systems that came through 40, 50 years ago, are not working so well, need updating. They're all, the light is moving too fast. So you need your own direct connection to spirit, and then ask, I need help. I need to understand this, and then wait and download it. When I was a director of that spiritual organization, Alternatives, I didn't know how to run a business. I just asked Spirit, can you show me how to run this business? I got no idea. And they told me, do this, employ that person, do this project.
Let's talk a little bit more in something that you really love, which are crystals. How do crystals help in all of this path of healing? They have medicine, We are
Yeah.
medicine. Why is so important to live and share with crystals our life, our energy? How do they align us to the right frequencies that we need? How do they talk to us?
Well, different crystals have different qualities, healing qualities, manifesting qualities, magical qualities. And I mean, there are all kinds of books that say which one is for which. But you can read the books and then go, but what do I feel when I meditate into this crystal? So there are actual crystals that you can hold. Here's a little crystal dragon I got from the Lake District.
Oh.
I had this one for about 30 years. I bought it 30 years ago when I went to Lake District. I was still waking up following this teacher, and I bought this crystal dragon from the Lake District. So there are physical ones which you can use magically. So for example, I use pendants and rings. I have a different ring for a different thing. I have a ring for accessing Akashic records. I have a ring for connecting to Starseed races. I have a ring for abundance. I have my ex-partner says you should have been a woman. You have more jewelry than fingers and arms. And
Well,
yes, I do.
You're waking up your feminine side.
Yeah.
No, in the Asian cultures, men used to wear lots of jewelry, and they were so beautiful with the jewelry, long hair, and they put some makeup too.
Yeah,
That was
absolutely.
beautiful. That was beautiful.
Well,
So
crystals, they hold, they transmit, they connect us. Different energies, they connect. They're very good transmitters. Some people have stored energy in crystals and left, Atlantean crystals, Lemurian crystals, they've stored information in them to be retrieved. Then there's other things like organite, which this is crystals embedded with copper. Oh, look at this one. This is my organite.
oh, look at that. Wow.
So this is using crystals and copper and all kinds of shapes for particular frequencies that radiates out. So that's right by my computer there. And then there are other ones, there are crystal pyramids that I have. There are spheres, shapes, and all kinds of things. Ones with angelic energy in, ones with Egyptian energy in. So there are also etheric crystals. And in my transmissions, I call on etheric crystals, which means in the universe, in the earth plane, actually, you can call an etheric ruby, an etheric emerald, an etheric diamond, and start working with them. Now, I found out about this about 25 years ago. I had a girlfriend who was training to be a crystal healer, and she said, "Can I do a crystal healing on you?" And I said, "Oh, okay, fine." She said, "But I'm not going to use real crystals. I'm going to use etheric ones. Like, I'm going to call them. They're not there, I said, "Oh, okay." So she created a pyramid using amethyst, then another layer of quartz, and then amethyst and quartz and something. And then I sat in this crystal pyramid, and there were no crystals, actual ones around me. And I was like blown away. It blew me out. And I said, "How did you do that?" She said, "Oh, just call the etheric template of the crystal in." And so in some of the transmissions, I've been calling etheric crystals. And etheric crystals I use mostly for two different things. And shamans would use this same. I call crystals for extraction, pulling out energies that shouldn't be in your body.
Yeah, those are so powerful.
Yeah. And the other thing I use is soul retrieval. I call crystals because I don't do, in shamanism, you might have one light, one piece of soul that comes back, but I like to call many. And you can't call them back in the body because it's too overwhelming, but you can call it into a crystal, take the crystal to a temple of healing, and then bring the energy back into the body. So I've been doing this for years. I learned by trial and error because the first time I did it, I called back 30 or 40 parts of me into my body. I was in bed for like 2 weeks. I was on the floor. I'm like, what's happening? I was like, and I got the message, you can't just call them all back because they're calling back all of the traumas and all of the stuff. You have to clean them up. So I had them cleaned up. And so that's a safe way to do it, really. So that's one way of using crystals: extraction, soul retrieval. I use them a lot for that.
That is great. So, Steve, what is a miracle?
In the 3D world, a miracle is something well out of the ordinary. It seems to bend the laws of reality, like, you know, like a healing. Many people have healings, and their doctors, when they so maybe someone has cancer tumor, they have a miracle, they go back, and the cancer is gone. And the standard response from the doctors is there must have been a fault with the original scan, because it can't disappear like that. You know, I've heard many people say these things. In 4D to 5D, which is where we start accessing spiritual energies, miracles are where we start accessing the law of resonance, where everything is energy. Cancer is energy. A difficult neighbor is energy. A dream is energy. A business is energy. And a miracle is energy. A miracle is something you want to manifest, and there it is. You know, I remember years ago, I had a dream. I wanted to drive a really beautiful car through the south of France. I was seeing myself driving this beautiful car through the south of France. I did the meditation a few times. I felt so great. I was given a sports car within 3 weeks later, silver sports car. I had to go and pick it up in Italy. I drove it through the south, through the Alps, south of France. This is like amazing. This is what and then back to England. I drove that car for many years. I've given it to a kind of a family member. They're still driving it now, but it was great for several years. I loved that car. I called it my Silver Princess. So I like to call all my cars a name. They all get a name.
Yeah, their energy too. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got my current one is Silver Tiger. So another silver one. It's if I send love to the car, I find it really, you know.
Well, they're elementals, you know.
Yeah, it keeps going. It doesn't has hardly any problems, you know. So yeah, I send love to the car and I ground the car, do a cord of grounding, so it pulls out any energy into the crystalline grid of the earth. Anyway, that's so a miracle in 5D is like you begin to expect them. It's not like wow. It's like yeah, great, thank you, universe, and then move on.
So this is a great door to come into what we all have been waiting, which is the abundance place, the
abundance
realm, the prosperity realm. Prosperity is not only money, right? Prosperity is what you are actually talking about.
Yeah.
Your well-being in 360 degrees and your dreams coming true.
But is it okay to have money? And this is a problem a lot of spiritual people have. Is it okay to have money? Is it okay to have a nice car? Is it okay to have a nice house? Why not? You know, I can't pay my IT person in bananas. I can't give my graphic designer a Reiki healing or something. They want money. And so we're in the world of money. So we've got to operate there. Money is fuel for the journey. Money is energy. And there was a time where we needed to not have money, to sit on the mountain, to know what it's like to get away from the material world. But now the spiritual journey is embracing the spiritual world, which means money. Money is not the point of the journey. Money is just the fuel for the journey. If you don't have money, I can't do all the things I'm doing. I couldn't buy this lovely computer, big computer I've got here. You know, I think it was about 4,000. You know, it's like I couldn't pay that in bananas. You know, I had to have a nice computer for doing the uploads. The thing about money and abundance is it relates to belief systems again and stories from our family. We all hold beliefs around money, whether it's good, evil, bad. Only criminals get it. You have to be super smart. You have to be of the right race. Well, there's all these ideas about it. We have to start busting those ideas. We have to bust the ideas of our mother and father because we've got stories from them, the life they led. You look at their life and go, that's the story they're telling me. Whether it's suffering, struggle, sacrifice, this is the message they're giving. And this is the message I have to look at and then go, yeah, but I'm not doing that. I thank you for the message. I'm going to go beyond that. And a lot of people struggle with that because there's a tremendous amount of loyalty within families. If my mother is poor and suffering, I can't be wealthy. So we have to break that. Loyalty is a false loyalty, because if I have money, then I can help her.
How do I work on that? So you have a specific book, which is wonderful. I would suggest that everybody gets this book, which is called The Spiritual Entrepreneur. I have the ebook. So in the ebook, you have the link to all these exercises. He's giving you exercises. He's giving you lots of directives, to follow.
So
If you
yeah,
get an ebook, you can link. There's a link. You can press that, and you are going directly to the affirmations, to the meditations, or to his blog that he's explaining more. But it's wonderful because you are giving a precise guide of how to work yourself. So this is really, really wonderful as an idea, Steve, because we all need to find our own medicine. We all need to find our own way of eliminating the blockages or the problems that we have, in our families or in our lives, right? So you are giving like a skeleton, and we all have to work for that. And it's easier to do that oneself because you go exactly where you feel that you have to go. But what are the real problems for this?
That book is for people who want to start a business or have got a business. I've also written a book. This is the latest one called Joy at Work. This is for people who are working in a job and they want to recreate how they're working, how they're earning money. So that's that one. I did write another one called The Prosperity Game, which is directly speaking about money. But the thing with money is energy. And the thing about money is not a clean energy. It's a dirty energy and it's not that it's intrinsically dirty, but billions of people on the planet are focusing anger, resentment, fear, anxiety onto money. So if you think of money as a stream of energy or a river, for example, that river is not crystal clear. So if you want to jump in the river and go, hey, I want to feel this river, I want to feel how beautiful it is, there's also these toxic pollutions in it. So one of the things we need to do is clean up that river. And so some of the meditations on my channel, abundance playlist, is cleaning up and clearing out that energy from your field. So you're not absorbing the toxins, absorbing the anxiety. You don't want to absorb billions of people's anxiety of money, because there's billions of people on the planet living below the poverty line. So there's a lot of anxiety around money, a lot of anger because people are having to work, 24/7 just to scrape a living. So all of that has to be cleared out. Then you become a channel for clean energy of money. So you can actually allow more money in, because a lot of people limit the money they're getting because they feel it's a bit toxic and heavy. But if you clean it up, you can let in a lot. You can also expand the amount of channels that you allow money in. If you're an employee, there's just one main channel, 9 to 5 job. But if you've got your own business, you can open up. I've got maybe 12 channels of where it comes in. One comes stronger this month, the next month, this month, there's always something coming in. So for Starseed, being an entrepreneur is great because you will become your own boss. Most Starseeds don't like working corporations under narcissistic or difficult bosses. They need their own, but they lack confidence. They lack the belief. That book is saying, okay, if you have an idea, this is how practically you do it, energetically how you do it. So, but money, for me, I've never been as abundant in my life as I've been now. So,
You're free.
and my ex-wife, I can go anywhere and work wherever I want. My ex-wife is now seeing how generous I am to the grandchildren and has stopped calling me I'm in a cult. So.
Oh, wow. This is great. So the world would be different if we all give time and focus with service to other, also with humanity, because of this law of reciprocity, right? That aligns us in perfect abundance, unlimited creativity, prosperity. So Starseed actually are opening into this perspective or perception of life of reciprocity, the right balance. The shamans call this aini, right? The aini is just giving and receiving in complete balance with nature, with people, with energy, with the world, with heaven, right? With the universe. So life would be different for everybody. So if I give, I'm going to receive also from everybody. So this is also the healing, which is getting back our awareness of empowerment, right? And this is abundance. This is prosperity, and also money is part of the energy of the world, of the world where we are. that probably when it was invented, it was for good, and then it became, you know, for power, you know, and to get people under control. But actually, money is good. Money is infinite, right? There's no limit for that.
Yeah, the systems that control money are not 100% aligned to the light, that's for certain. But money itself, you can walk in those systems and be free of any control of those systems, or relatively free. So I walk in the systems, I pay my taxes, I do the 3D things, but I still walk relatively free in the world. You mentioned service to self, service to other, and now starseeds are primarily service to other. No one is 100% service to other. To be 100% service to other is virtually impossible while being in a body, because we always have to take care of our needs, our physical needs. We have to drink water, we have to eat. So we are balancing our needs. But starseeds who are teachers are primarily focused on service to other. And the balance for them is not to burn out, not to be give, and not to receive anything. You have to be open to receive. Most people are open to giving, but learning to open to receive is a skill that most people, they bounce it away. You know, they kind of bat it away. Like, no, I don't need anything. I'm fine. I don't need you to say thank you. I
And
don't
this
need
is
you to
an
give me anything.
issue mothers have, you know, they're always giving to children and giving and giving and giving, and they just don't think about themselves. And this is cultural. This is cultural.
Yeah,
So,
it
you
is
know,
cultural. Yeah.
yeah, this proper balancing this energy that we also need to receive, and life is going to give us so many surprises if we start thinking in this way.
We
So
all have needs, but most people think it's not just eating and drinking. We all have needs for beauty, for fun, for connection, for magic, for joy, for play, for all of these things. And most people, like mothers who are giving, are thinking, I hope my son goes to school and has his sandwich and whatever. But they don't give any thought to how much joy am I having today? Or for me, so when I worked in a spiritual organization as director, the one principle I employed for the organization was, if we don't feel joyful about doing it, we don't do it. So if a person wants to be put on in our organization and we don't feel really joyful and high about this person, we don't do it, no matter how famous they are. You know, there are things which would break rules for us, like, for example, a teacher sleeping with students, that kind of thing. But we had the rule, follow your joy. And Joseph Campbell said it, first of all, follow your bliss. And for a person in sacrifice, following your bliss feels heresy. I can't follow my bliss. I have to give to all these people. I can't just do what I want to do, you know. But you can, in small ways, start small. Every day, can I have 1 hour for me? And then maybe 2 hours for me. What about me? What do I want to do? Do I want to go swimming? Do I want to read? Do I want to study something? Follow your bliss. So if anyone's listening to this are really in a martyrdom, sacrifice will always lead to burnout and resentment.
yeah,
After years, you'll feel resenting. You'll resent the person you kept giving to, because they're not giving you back anything. You know,
exactly.
you may give to that son and he may disappear, get married, and not want anything to do with you. And you're going to resent that. You know, there is no giving and receiving. It has to be equal. Even the child. Now, when the child is growing up, the child is not giving you, they may give you some joy, they may give you some love, but when they're growing up, you know, there is some giving back to the parents. And it's kind of for example, a person who's married with children is not always focusing on their mother or father, but they want to give something back to them, invite them. There is some reciprocity for the gift of life.
This is
So no one should be in sacrifice.
yeah. So you have a formula for success, right?
Oh, yeah.
We want that. You have this formula that you want to share with us?
So the formula for success is more for if you have this is for a business, actually, the formula for success.
But I think it works in everything, huh?
Maybe. The thing is, if you have great content, a great service, a great offering, then and you match that with great marketing, that's success in your business. Now, most people in their business have a great offering but don't market. Some people have a crap offering, it's not really thought out or it's not really very good, and have great marketing. Those two don't work in the long run. But you have to have a great offering. Now, it might be, you know, you have a great offering of energy in your personal life, then the marketing would be being visible with that. because some people try and hide away. I'll only be in this group of people, but not that group of people. You have to be visible. And a lot of starseeds have problems with being too visible because they're a bit afraid of what people think, of being called crazy. You know, I don't care what people think anymore. You know, my kids know I'm a bit crazy and they still love me, so it's all right. And my grandkids, I showed my granddaughter Midjourney. It's like an app for creating art. And she's only 4 and she loved it. And I said, what do you want to create? She said, I want to create a butterfly. What color we? And so we create this butterfly. She was like, wow. In front of her eyes, it created this
And
butterfly
you
for her.
share those pictures with everybody every day, right?
Oh, yeah.
What's the formula?
Raise your vibration and keep it high. Don't let anything bring it down. There will always be things that try to bring you down. People, situations, problems, but you have to raise your vibration as a constant practice. Dancing, singing, go on swim in the, you know, in the sea, whatever raises your vibration. Kiss someone, hug someone, keep your vibration high. When you meet someone and you feel your energy starting to come down, you know, breathe, go back up. Go have a say, I can't speak to you anymore for now. I'll speak to you later. Have a cup of tea. Break resonance when anything bringing your light down. Go and take your time to bring your energy higher. If you've got a boss, which is difficult, put light around you. Just put a wall of light between you and the boss. There's all kinds of techniques you can do. Keep your vibration high. That's the simplest thing.
That's important. So I have another one that is yours, which is I am 1000% open.
Yeah. I am now 1000% open, discerning, willing, worthy of love. You can add anything in there, abundance, success on my own terms. You can put anything in there. I am 1000% willing, worthy, open, deserving. And just create your own little mantra of whatever it is you want, of abundance, of money, of a golden flow, golden river of abundance, of love, of whatever it is. And when you say that affirmation, it might be, one part of you might be, oh, I don't totally believe it, but you've got to kind of work on it. And that part will open up energetically. The parts which are contracted and heavy will start to shift.
So why are our affirmations so important? What's the energy behind? What's happening behind?
Affirmations break our negative self-talk. And if something happens in the world, our ego might go off. Oh, I knew that was happening. Oh my God, what am I going to do now? There's all this stream of negative self-talk. Affirmations help to reverse the negative self-talk. Once you reverse negative self-talk, your emotional body starts to expand and your mental body, your light starts to expand. You start to feel peaceful. I feel better. And then you start to feel more positive, more hopeful, more. And as your energy changes, so your reality changes. So affirmations can help us transform old belief systems, old stories, old negative self-talk. And we all have it. We're trained in it. In the Western world, we're trained in negative self-talk.
Just to end, how do you see doing all this work for everybody and everybody coming out?
Spiritual closet.
Spiritual closet. How does the world, what does the world still need to live in this Garden of Eden?
What the world needs is, well, it needs the light and love that's been coming into the planet now. The world needs more love, more light. It needs more expansion, more possibility, more new technologies which are coming in. And it needs the old energies which have been here for too long to break down. And they are breaking down. So it's a two-way thing. You know, it's a bit like extraction and calling in. You know, take out the bad shit, bring in the good shit. That's what the world needs.
So this is a wonderful talk, a wonderful conversation with you, Steve. Thank you so much. Keep on doing these meditations that we're all addicted to them.
Thank you, Maria.
We love your energy. We're learning a lot from you. So hope to have you in my life more, you know, expanding in things and learning from you. And I hope I can give you back sometime something.
Well, you're translating, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I'm translating your affirmations. I think they're so powerful. So I think people from the Spanish world and countries can listen to that. You know, I'm a storyteller. I do record spiritual tales that are like a little bit not like affirmations, but they do tell you stories in a different way, and they also heal. You know, I've been in your webinar of writing a book and you said something so wonderful. People need stories. And it's true. We need stories to grow up and to believe in ourselves. So I keep that, you know, in my mind so big. You know, I do theater, and theater is also telling stories and working with people in a different way. The thing that really attracted me to your meditation was your voice. I was listening. It was, you know, like boom, you know, something getting into me. If you have a good voice, you have a good story. That's a powerful technology for medicine, for the healing of the soul, right?
Yeah.
Because every meditation that you do is like a story. It's like watching a film. We don't need Netflix anymore.
I'm Soulflix.
So thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks, Maria.
I hope to have another talk with you sooner or later. Let's see how much we changed in the meantime. Thank you so much, Steve.
Thanks, Maria.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. See you next time.